So here's a few notes I'm going to make before I go to sleep. I filled out the documentation for mental health court as ordered by the judge, and um, the writ of mandamus has been reviewed by several people, um, and what they determined was that. Hold on one second. That some of the laws that I was looking at with regards to having it approved by a judge to have it transferred to the proper jurisdiction under which the complaint happened, is a possible means. But I still have to honor what the judge ordered here in Delaware County. But I heard from her tonight, and she let me know that she'd rather do use the court here and offer me either mental health court or veterans court, which I didn't get paperwork for the veterans court. And there is a waiver for mental health court where I would waive, I guess I would enroll in that program and waive some of the rights underneath the mental health court, which would include 24 months of probation. And with the people that have been involved in using whatever that digital and or other use of computer technology to send me different things from wherever they're sending them from, like before they're hitting me in the chest with things like sage and catnip a while ago, which was different, and somebody was being nice to me. But now, and then periodically after that, they were hitting me with, drugs. And some form of mind altering drugs, which I disclosed everything that they told me they put, in me. And it was asked, why would I've been told about all those things that were put in me. And they were, with James Radcliffe, they were going to, harm me. And so what really came out tonight was the fact that, and that this is really, teetering on reasonableness. The fact that Steve Jobs, had the cloud, and either somebody in his family or his widow, which I don't think he was widowed. I'd have to double check. Wanted me assassinated for the theft that Jane and I'm Pam, because Jane told Pam to steal it, and then Pam stole it and developed it, and all the things that didn't happen with regards to performance, and using the National Security Administration, etc., to ensure that the commercial interface with the national security needs were not met, or possibly had glitches. With regards to what Pam was saying yesterday, there is, she says that she does not know how it works perfectly, and that there is some debris that's happening, that she would check the encryption of that, and that level of encryption has to come from someone who can do it. That's a matter of performance. And so I asked the judge to consider performance measures and terms and contracts with regards to that being allocated to the proper agency to ensure that those performance measures are met, and that's questionable. And so it's probably something that she could settle, if she would buy into what's going on, as opposed to shadowing this as a mental health issue, which it's not. The only reason why I would have to even go along with that is because it's been ordered. And I think it's probably, 50-50 that it's ordered for, everyone who has, a felony or committed a felony and whatever. And that, that case, but also the reasons why I was arrested had nothing to do with mental health. It had everything to do with me trying to save my life and find someone who could help me. And I needed a congressional review to determine who was bothering me and why. Because I was not going for, the the fact that it was just something sight unseen, that I was experiencing a lot of alterations to my body, and pins, and all the things they were doing to me to cause me bodily harm and to fall and to hurt myself. Also the fact that they were hurting me to the point where if I did fall, I would have a break in one of my bones, and I experienced breaks in my bones after they had harmed me. And so I know that they, when they kicked me or cracked my ribs and my head, that and then put a foot in my mouth, just out of disrespect, altogether, and in a VA hospital, that it was possible I would, incur additional injuries. And so Harris admitted that he was killing me for Steve Jobs, which, to hide the fact that they stole the cloud and he was sent, and that was a reason why he was come to America to do that. He said that, which, a lot of that is fake because he knows of me before, and then also alleges that he did something to me when I was in the Army, which, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things that happened to me in the Army with regards to top secret, you know, documents or processes stolen that was not authorized, by me. Of course, I wouldn't do it, but whoever had visibility over that failed. And so right now, there's a possibility to handle this, whatever issues Pamela has with Apple through, contract terms and conditions, or even the fact that it's going to be relicensed or licensed and used by the federal government. So there's a lot of things that she's leaving out. Um, and with that being said, I'm hearing from Harry that, he's going to hurt me if I don't have sex with him. And so, or the person, honestly, it goes back and forth between the use of someone's, someone being impressionable, basically, and the fact that they don't listen to reason. And I find myself, after coming upstairs, that, I tell Harry that, there's no way that I would think of him sexually or even as a boyfriend, because he's hurt me so. And he lies about raping me and all that. And he, that part of what he's been doing all his life towards me with Meghan Markle as well has been criminal. And so, there's no way, in my thinking, that because I wasn't known, or I did not know what they were doing to either help me or hurt me, there's no way I can say, you know, I'm much obliged for what he's done. I can't do that. And also, it came out the fact that my drill sergeant, Merritt, was the one who raped me. Um, and, they were worried about me. And so really, honestly, there's still too many lies that's being told. And, Richard was saying that, he understands the way I think, and how I want to, ensure that all the boxes are checked. And so what I'm saying is, if the judge can do that, and we can explain every step that happened, you know, honestly, there's no other way out of this other than the truth. And so to, corral after someone, or circle someone in a situation where I'm by myself, there are so many ways to point the finger towards some other action that had nothing to do with me. And so, it's not the fact that I'm begging on borrowed time. It's the fact that I'm trying to do what I can legally to, do what's right. And that when everybody else failed to do it, I'm trying. And the reason why is because I should not have to go to jail for something that I did not do, and I should not have been set up in the first place. And so the person that, they're alleging, you know, as a part of this, it has to be made clear, if he's a part of that culture where he had been wiretapping me too. And so there's too many probabilities, to the fact where, some people are saying things that are not true. And also the fact that people are moving through the DOJ who should not have access to anything, making it look like it's stolen votes. And so there's always, some loose ends with these people and the way they plan. And then how, I heard from the Trumps, Eric and Donald, and the fact that, Donald Trump was, and authorized people to do things to me in 2016, um, which has everything to do with Pamela Tolligan. And so, there's so many reasons why, um, when people stand up for what's right and do what's right, then nobody hurts you or nobody betrays you. And so Donald Trump knows people who knows me, and he's probably, I mean, honestly, probably, I'm not sure, but I've heard that he's related to me somehow, or know people who's related to me from on my grandmother's side. And it's just that way, and honestly, when people get involved to spread lies or get involved with schemes to defraud the American government, it's more important to find out why and the implications of doing so and how it causes America problems. And again, I'm not the one who sent people on all of my civilian jobs to canvass me to create fraud every step of the way. And that's been a plan in the making all of my life by, you know, the DLA and certain other people. And so I'm finding myself being not entrapped, but trapped in a situation where people have lost their sense of duty, and then on the other side of that, trying to do due diligence to ensure that other people are not harmed, just even um, in their own lives, outside of the government. And so, um, what I think is that when I say that I'm sorry, Harry, you're not the one for me, and I start singing that song by Bryce and Tiller or something like that. I think the name is Bryce, and so it means a lot because I don't go after people's relationships that I can't have people in my life who are loyal to me, and he's already had so many problems even behind my back of being loyal, and so um, he's never really been on my side, and it's always been something that he's been getting involved in to benefit himself when he didn't really need to be a part of the American government. And so, the more he's involved, and the more people are trying to do what he does, and that was the analogy. If Harry is scheming, and I've heard from others like um, Eric Trump and Donald, throughout this whole time, who continue to do things in one way or the other. I mean, honestly, all this secrecy really needs to stop. And those people involved in my life should just be the people who should be, because I'm not bringing them to me. And then James Cuneo said, between him and James Radcliffe, the Gennardis, and all those people who pull for him, you know, this started, I guess, as far as he's concerned, in Radcliffe, this started out, based upon schemes that they did with Jane to keep this going throughout my life. And so um, that's how most of the fraud came within the Army's environment. I mean, as far as, locally, and then at a higher level, again, issues with integrity and doing things, or just being in the right place, um, or involving yourself in my life when I was in the right place. It has disrupted a lot of people's lives. And so I hope, I'm going to do what both courts asked me to do. And that's fair to me, because I do, I mean, based upon the fact that this started out in Philadelphia, there is local, there's, not local, but there's federal jurisdiction that can resolve these issues. And I asked that the judge, if she's going to get involved and what she can do at her level, just, let's just work on the truth and understanding that between two people or people who enter in agreements, and that agreement turns out to be something where it is collusive and fraudulent, she has the authority to, you know, she has the authority to honor a writ of mandamus or writ to quit, because what's happening is not in Delaware County's authority or within Delaware County's jurisdiction, but it takes more to get rid of what's been going on in the county as well. So it's probably a joint effort, and then there has to be um, explication of certain of laws between the counties to ensure that jurisdiction and or you know how do you say intergovernment policing happens, and so or intergovernment justice. And so just remembering what jurisdiction is, and honestly that really is the problem. People in people's business outside of their duties, outside of their authority, and outside of jurisdiction, that it worries a lot of people. And so honestly, just tie in where you are and figure out how it impacts you. But I mean, continuously bothering me and others is not the way to fix this. And I'm hoping, I mean, I have to do what I have to do, and I just have to stay the course and get through it. And so Harry, did something to my body tonight. He said he was helping me. I'm not really sure. They gave me something that's similar to scleroderma, which is the thickening of muscles, which I think scleroderma, it's painful. And over time, which I have been in pain, over time, your body just doesn't work right. And so I fight that every day. Just like anybody who had, the disorder. I mean, I don't, but they, somehow through this, the trash and debris and all this, however they're doing it with the space programs and et cetera, however they're doing it, I still had to fight it no matter if I was born with it or not. And that's just the way I can, that's the only way I can do this. It may seem strange, and honestly, to anybody looking, that you just have to fight the best way you possibly can. And it's not always, getting in somebody's face for something stupid. It's not that. It's none of those things. It's the fact that there's protections under the law, and I really feel like I should go for that, because I'm no different than anybody else, and that's just a basic right. And so if I'm scared or become paralyzed and not trying to do something, then that's my own fault, and I'll be the only one to blame. But I can take blame when it comes to what I didn't see, because I didn't fathom that people hurt you based on you know you know using external. I think I call even the services some form of utility or service, utilities and services outside of what is normally expected. I think, what I wrote to the Senate Committee on Intelligence, which I think it was just Senate Committee on Intelligence. Now it's just select, I don't know what that means, but anyway, basically I wrote to them and let them know what I am experiencing is not reasonable. And the fact that a lot of these processes that were stolen from me have become, a lot of issues for the National Security Administration, I do believe, and to also include the FBI, where there have been, things have been left go and not dealt with to put things in proper perspective. Because I'm not dealing with people on the street. I'm dealing with people who get paid pretty good money. Like if I pull up the salary for a GS-15, they're probably making about $100,000 a year. A GS, I mean, somebody like Ellis, I don't even know what that would be. Maybe GS-20. I don't even know. Probably like $150,000 to $200,000 a year. And I'm not dealing with people who are poor. So why even the situation where these people are aggressive towards me for something that belongs to me is really honestly the issue. I'm not. I mean, on one aspect, this has to be controlled to stop fraud. Is really the biggest thing, and that should be well established, because people like Harry Windsor and Meghan Markle think we're stupid. They think this government is stupid, and the fact that they use sex and really odd forms of that to hurt people. And also, I keep hearing this whole issue with anaphylopathy, or there's other internal disorders like scleroderma uh, that there, alleges problems with, internal operations of the body, or the way the body works. And, um, all those things, are to be taken with an air of caution, because nobody wants to die over something stupid. I mean, that woman has more money than she needs, and she's not paying. I mean, I'm not saying that, you pay somebody, but Lockheed is, their bottom line is in supporting this. I mean, I would shut it down. You're spending taxpayer dollars. You might even have a corporation that you can pay families to even support themselves just for two people. How does that make sense? I mean, how do you even leverage what common sense looks like if you're tied in with something that does not make sense? And so, I keep saying shut the fence, close the gate, and lock it, and retract the radar, because I do have a right to privacy. And I'm tired of people using me. And also what came out tonight was the fact that Judge Brennan and Pam Tall thinks that they can use this as some scheme to write, about, what's going on in my life, to come up with a show ideal, which honestly, if that was just the case, then that would be just, hey, we heard that, you have, and they already know, I know Scandal was taken from me, etc. And so, honestly, it does not hurt to talk to people. I mean, it's as patronizing as it sounds, but it does not have to always look bad for a person, but it always is that way when someone is evil towards you. And Pamela Toll has never been nice to anyone who's known me, or nice to me, or nice to anything, not nice, but like respectful of anything that would belong to me. And these are personal problems between her and Richard Ellis that they've not addressed. It will be hard for any of my, my parents or my fellow, my cousins, etc., to deal with this when they're dealing with people who do this. And I also was told that my son's Audi is somewhere, and it was sent to North Carolina to my cousin Sharon's son, to drive, because Harry thought he deserves my son's car. And he's doing that as, I don't know, maybe a reverse play to have somebody mistreat my son, because the only thing I keep hearing is Harry, is reminiscing about the fact that he had sex with Brian that, a long time ago. And I don't know if that exists today, but he's too much in my son's business again. And that has nothing to do with Harry, as far as that car but what they did to it, it was just spiteful. There was just no need to do that. I mean, if there is, whatever goes on with the fact that he's trying to harm me, that all should be stopped. But he should not be getting involved in my son's life. And the other thing with Chase Manhattan, he can't even get his card back. And I'm not sure if his wages have been tapped or taken from his DoorDash app, and how that works. There probably is, some contractual issues, because that's what Jane gets into. I mean, every level of fraud that she can do or motivate them to do is only spreading ill will. It's spreading ill will. And it's so stupid how many people get involved in this stuff. Like, I mean, the several hundred companies that they're doing this with to disrupt American processes and business practices. Does it make sense? I mean, how, really, how do you actually govern your own selves when you can't even offer goods and services without, tampering or colluding with someone for promises of what? Sex? I mean, ask her, like, if she would have sex with you without her causing you to lose integrity or lose your jobs. Because she won't care. She won't pay you money if you lose your job, and she's still not going to pay you money. she's just promising, oh, it's sex with her. Like, I mean, honestly, whatever data that is about the sex with her, publicize it. I mean, show what it is that everybody's crazy about to understand. Like, you're losing your minds. And honestly, I really think it's just jealousy, or maybe it's not. I mean, I just say it's jealousy, but she can't move on because she's so caught up in stupidity and being a thief. So it's a circle because basically, I have things I need to do, but she gets involved with them no matter if it has her name on it or not. And so I heard even today that, well, it's probably not even true, but the fact that, well, I don't have a missed call from, I didn't think I don't. I mean, on the 16th, I got a missed call, from the doctor I had to go to today, but there was no message or whatever. And so basically, they're screwing with my stuff to I don't know, to make a point and nobody stops them. Honestly, those people who are monitoring have the ability to find them heavily. Uh, for even getting involved with what national security looks like, especially beyond the fact that this is, first of all, not diplomatic immunity. This is not what that is, and they can't declare that at any point because they've been working here since '99, and or so this is before titles. I mean, he was born a prince, and um, with the treaties that we have, and that's up to the discretion of, you know, I guess the president, and but the things they're doing, they weren't born or born to serve to be killers. That's not what they were born to do. You can't declare that because the diplomatic immunity would have to be involved with the titles and duties that they have, and the fact that they are carrying out their duties here, but they would have to relinquish their titles to even move here, and then it's some type of it's like, even with under the Geneva, or I'm sorry, the Vienna Convention and Treaty, there's information that therein says that they are giving up something because of some trouble that they had in their nations, and just point blank, that they would no longer represent their those titles that they were once associated with, and they were sent here from England to save their lives, and they just can't get it right, because they are in trouble worldwide for what they have been doing, and no other country wanted them there. And so, at first, when, in my ear, Oprah was saying, help him, or I gave him to you for you to help, it's only, whatever that looks like, I'm not really sure, it was only because I thought she thought he would be okay. But what does okay look like? With a person who is always laden with paparazzi and propaganda, and there's no truth in it, and in any of the things that they do, and they don't answer for anything that they've ever done, and they get away with it internationally, and a lot of it, I mean, even though there are a body, in the English government, I don't think, I mean, they represent the Commonwealth in some way. But however that works out, I don't really know. Maybe just with the Lords and Commons, and then there's the other territories. But even that's a split in and of itself in a government. But they still get away with what they get away with, and maybe at some point the buck stops wherever that is. But I can't get Harry to come out and say, what normal looks like. And there should be a term in events that would be the case. I also asked him to do what he can to save his own life. And reasoning and that is, because he'll be blackmailed by Charles, or Camilla or someone, and so, honestly, it has everything to do with money. And why are we tied? Oh, that should not even be tied to me. I didn't ask him to be here, and I didn't ask him. I mean, if he's here, like his life and my life is mine. They don't. They should not overlap. And so, I'm going to end that one here. Basically, to say that I have things I need to do to protect. Um, it's still a matter of protection of some people and myself, that I'm tied with for whatever reason, to get away from the fact that the federal government are extorting people in this area to hide, certain things that, has been hidden, and the fact that, you know, they're saying to me that I've had intercourse with someone to cause problems internally for me, that I had a drug prescribed I've never heard of called opomidazole or something like that. And so it was used to help stop what was going on with me. And when I went to the hospital in 2014, 8 months later, they didn't treat me. And so I went right away to my doctor and complained with, stomach problems. And I took this medicine, but I didn't have any problems with anything internally until Robert Napier used, someone like Napier, I'm not really sure, but let's say it's him because I know his voice, um, used, something on me to cause to cause something to happen. So there's a process in what they've done to me to hurt me. And for that, I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not. I'm going to do everything I can to stop this from happening to another person as well as myself. I do have the right to do that. And these people are not nice, and I'm telling you to stay the fuck away from them because they could do the same thing to you. But if you even entertain them, I'm really being serious. If you entertain them in any way, they're gonna hurt you. They're gonna hurt you politically. They're gonna hurt you financially. They're gonna hurt you in your family status, just the same way they did me. And so you might want to look at Regalwood and what happened and why they call it Ransom Township, because there was no need to change the name of that place, Ransom Township. And and then also it can be alleged that the flood that happened, there's never been a flood that happened uh, in that town because of the way that the waterworks or waterway systems were created there. Um, and I was told that the lock and dam that I used to visit in Elizabethtown, Elizabeth City, was blown up. Um, I think 2014, and not repaired. And that lock and dam, actually, it worked for a great number of years. And the way that flood had happened in that city, in that town, and all those little cities around, they were under at least, more water than to be expected. And lastly, even with that, the fact is they never received that much damage, as long as, going over about 45 years. There's never been that much damage. And I think if I think about Andrew, that was only, along the coast. Um, and who knows? I don't know. I've been told that even the weather system has been impacted by electricity and discharge of electricity, etc., to cause weather patterns to change, which is actually true, um, because it happened again it's happening a lot in Pennsylvania, a lot more than it has ever happened. And so with that being said, um, these people have followed me all my life in every state I've ever been in and have caused problems. And it's up to the FBI to go back and look at the patterns of crimes and or the rumors of crimes of people who have been around me, to understand that this has been happening way too long. And I hear, the deputy commander in my ear, he knows, but in a lot of ways, I'm not really sure if he had everything to do with what was going on, and he said they hurt him too. But honestly, you know, it's still his within his authority to do what he has to do as the chief operation, or this is called a coop. I can't remember, was it chief officer of continuity or something of the other like that, to ensure that he ensures safety and really mean it. Like, I mean, I don't give a, somebody's got to be in prison or put in federal prison for what is happening, and somebody's got to just stop them from doing that. And so it's not just contracts and conditions with these people. These people that who has been hired um, aren't trained killers, but they know how to abuse things to become that way. Who would think buying for the military means that people adopt those habits? And then I'm hearing from Pamela that somebody took the lock off of my hatch in the bathroom, um, which I think had already always been locked. And she said she's going to have Daniel Padilla come in my house, and that he has patterns or issues dealing with her, or whomever that is. And so basically, you know, these are issues that that organization has never dealt with, and they groom these children to grow up to become, worse than the generation before, to work in the federal agency, the Defense Logistics Agency, to do what? To join the special forces or to work in, I guess, Army Special Forces or military special? No, none of that's making sense. And they're not. They are not in the way of hiring people to kill people, or they never should have been involved in that in the first place. Which they're wrong on so many occasions, or so many, on so many levels, uh, that this just can't continue. So luck has nothing to do with it. It's just not that. It's just a matter of um, trying to get the best way of getting help as soon as possible, to ensure that people remember that you have to be responsible for yourselves, and jail time is, it's really up to them. It really is up to them, and it's not up to me. And you know their conduct is not becoming of something that would take them away from that decision. They're making their decisions every day on what it is they want to do, and all of us cannot. I mean, really, um, most women don't have patterns of destructions the way that Meghan Markle does, and for that she's wrong, and she does not seek guidance or counseling to stop that. And anybody worth their grain of salt, and Pamela too, worth their grain of salt or grain, at all, would understand that all that doesn't kind of make sense. Do something about it. I'm just going to, I'm trying to figure out who this person is. I don't know. I mean, I've never heard of her, but she knows everybody who knows me. Um, and so really, honestly, what that would entail is getting, you know, I guess, background knowledge about who this person has been around military people in the military, and understand that either she is either is a hindrance or not, or what she proposes to do is good or not. I'm not the one, again, to make that decision, but basically a lot of it is coming out that she's not, with her big behind head. this whole ambassador thing is a ploy again, because this is something that I was working on, not really, but getting to the point where I'm working with ambassador, uh, former ambassador of Lithuania, and so they're meeting with an ambassador right now, or have in the last few days, well, yesterday, and so they're on the East Coast, and so they're doing things that would suggest something that's really crazy. And so here it is with the ambassador to the nations to discuss racial justice and other issues during a work trip to Manhattan, outside of the scope of what they even have to do at all. I don't even understand why they would even work with an ambassador on any level. Thomas Green, a longtime diplomat, nominated by President Biden last year, posting images of the couple chatting with her on a white couch and posing next to her an American flag at the UN headquarters, East 46th Street near Fifth Avenue. And so last year nominated, but this was just this year. Um, and so a year later after election, this happens. And so mental health and racial justice, give me a break. This is styling and profiling. That's all that is. I know little about her other than what I hear through the DLA and what they tell me, and what they've done with her, and how things have turned out. And honestly, I just really think that I don't appreciate them using me as some type of cover, because I really think that somebody's protecting someone else. I asked Pam, like, the way she brought this to me, to call this, like they call this, as far as research yesterday with organized game stalking, is street theater, where everybody is coming up with different scenarios at some point, or riding into the hospital to hurt me. And all these people, all this came out as jealousies about what they knew about me that I had no recollection, but no information as to what was going on in my life and how people were getting or obtaining ideals that I had when I never had a conversation. And Harry knows more about me because of the wiretapping, because the information had been shared with him um, from other people overseas. So, it's just really sad. We already had our problems, and honestly, if it's something that needed to be handled, outside of my um, purview, then maybe perhaps that should have happened. So, just untying some of the things that happens, as far as what I can do, that's the only thing I can do. I'm not really interested in what they do or what they have to say. I'm hoping that the Army stay away from them, because, the Secretary of Defense, has issues with staying away from Meghan Markle, and not addressing, her evil schemes, not addressing, but, getting involved with her evil schemes, which he should. He should not be using the Army's resources, or even, any top secret resources as well, on me at all. Only because, again, they are connected with someone. I mean, even it doesn't even matter if they were even domestic. It's not a matter of who, favors who. The fact of the matter, I keep hearing, is based upon the fact that, complexion. If people were, the merit of a person is based upon complexion, then everything in life would be based upon the colors of skin. And she certainly isn't the lightest person in the world, and that doesn't even matter to me. But when you say diplomatically it matters, the complexion of who she is, and what is done to cater, no. I mean, if it's about that, or about wanting to have sex with her, then stop using government resources to have sex with a woman that she wouldn't even entertain you if you didn't have access to certain things that she uses for herself. I mean, okay, she's no Jennifer Lopez, but whatever. Not to, open up that for discussion, but the point of the matter is, she's just another woman who happens to marry to a man who does not honor his agreements in life as first a member of a family that could do right if they tried. And for whatever reason, he's still fucking up, and he's gotten married. So that doesn't mean that he's going to be a better person. And this is not, I mean, just because a person is light skinned doesn't mean they're angelic. A person who's dark skinned could be just as evil or mean or nice. I've never had to rely on any of those things. I've only just relied on who I was to who I need to be, and who I am to myself. But you can't ever expect her to be someone that's on the up and up, and someone you can trust. That won't be, and that's really my biggest concern, that she, as well as the English government, just like her mom who stole $17 million, she would continue to steal and do things as much as she needs to convey the fact that she's a thief. And all the things that she does, Thomas Markle doesn't turn her in because he's having sex with Harry, according to Harry. And so all this salaciousness and all the lies and maybe even false allegations that they do make are against, even as a human, and you don't even have to have a title to know that lying is wrong and it's racketeering. And if you're doing it, to get involved with government, practices and procedures and policies, it's wrong. So, best of luck on being light-skinned and having, I guess the ability to, snowball people, but somebody's got to understand that this is wrong to do. Again, there's not enough. I mean, I don't know much about her other than what she tells me. And really, maybe there's just not a lot to know, other than the fact that somebody says they have intel on her. The color of the skin doesn't have merit, does not offer merit, is really the issue. And I'm sick of people just being snowballed behind it. So I'm going to get off of here. I've spent enough time on them. I don't even talk about them. I don't even think about them. I was asked tonight, do I ever think about sex with Harry? I'm like, no, I don't. He doesn't belong to me. And really, honestly, getting involved in that whole ideal is a trap, because, he came here, he asked me for sex. I said, yes, sure, I don't care. 2 years at the minimum. I don't really want to be involved in your life, and I don't want to cause scandal. But she never let him honor it, and so that's why she keeps, coming after me, but she wants sex with me more than he wants sex with me. And she alleges that she's raped me. Um, and honestly, I think that happened within the last 4 years. But nobody's really broke the story on what's going on behind the scene, and that is really troubling. But then there's a lot of information about what what they know about her. And really, let me just see. I mean, I don't even understand why overseas there's nothing coming from. But, honestly, the way that family works is they hide everything. So they probably buy a lot of information about what is not working in their lives to keep it, out of the storylines or out of the headlines. So I'm sick of dealing with it, is really the issue. I'm not gifted on international matters. I don't have the connections with people to stop them from, ruining my life here or overseas, as far as international, and what they do say. And so, I just basically, I do what I can. But this should go away, and I never should have to have dealt with this